the guys are a little testy. We've been very, very physical amongst ourselves, so I don't think Saturday afternoon couldn't get here soon enough. We made some really, really good improvements. When you look at scrimmage amongst ourselves, and obviously scrimmaged 4 other opponents, basically Rice being one. I think there's a great improvement in our ability to make plays amongst ourselves, individually and collectively, but probably more importantly, our ability to take care of the ball has been improved, and that's going to help us stay in games, help us win games. You know, rebounding and defending right now, we need to improve there, but I think a lot of it has to do with us changing defenses. Sometimes you're out of position, as opposed to in the past, I've always been a guy that's stuck primarily with one primary defense going into the season, but we've got 3 defense primaries. I think we're going to be in situations this year where we're going to have to get people out of rhythm and change defenses on the fly, so to speak. So, but again, the most important thing is we got to get through the day and got to get through tomorrow healthy. You know, we're not going to back off in terms of how intense we are in practice. I mean, one of the things I think with this group, because nobody has really separated themselves, maybe a guy or two, is we're going to sustain our intensity all the way up until we play. So, questions?
Trent, is there something you feel like from the start you guys, you know that you'll be good at, that you're not surprised if you're not good at?
Well, again, and I say this not with caution, I say this being very realistic. I mean, I think versus certain people, when we're talking about talent, speed, quickness, strength, and all those other kind of things, certain people we're going to be able to play extremely fast, we're going to be able to pick up a full court, we're going to be able to defend. And I haven't had that since I've been here. You know, that group we had the first year, you know, and we were 7 deep, at times 6 deep, you know, and so we were able to play a certain way on a man standpoint, but if we lost an individual like a Garrett through fouls or like a Chris Johnson, we had to really massage it on the defensive end with these guys. And that's based off our conditioning. We're going to be able to really get up and play fast, but defend fast with a sense of urgency. So I think that's a good thing. And then I really expect us to be balanced in terms of scoring the ball. Started in Italy, but then when you add the 3 freshmen, you know, one scrimmage where Andre led us to scoring. One scrimmage, I think it was Storm. Another scrimmage, it was Anthony. One other scrimmage, I can't remember. It might have been, obviously I can't remember because I don't pay a lot of attention to scoring, but it might have been Justin. And then so you look at that, and the one guy who I know is going to score the ball for us is Ralston. And so I think we have a chance to be really balanced, really balanced. I don't get caught up on who we play, where we play, when we play on any given year. And I mean, my whole thing has always been about competition. I don't care how talented we may be or how talented we may not be. All I know is this, is that basketball, there's so much parity in this game, and it has been like this for the last 6 or 7 years, that you need to be ready to play, you need to be ready to compete at a high level. But probably more important for me, it is about competition. It is about competition. It is competing at a high level. And shame on any player, shame on any individual that treats this game or any other game any different, because that's not what this is about to me. You know, ultimately, we all want to be playing the last game at the end of the year, but it's competition, and last year was last year. This is a new year. So, I mean, again, and I'm saying that speaking off of, we had a scrimmage versus Rice who beat us last year. Well, you know, in their own quiet way, and I thought they were really pleased. But, you know, from my standpoint, I just like to say, hey, that was last year. This is this year. You need to learn how to compete at a high level. So, and then you will win your share of games, believe me.
Coach, when you say you're going to have the 3 different defenses, is it more a specific opponent, game plan for an opponent, or is it going to be situations in games where you'll need to utilize it?
It'll be a combination of both, Steve. But obviously we know going into a game, based off of scouting reports, this is how we're going to have to play. This is what we're going to try to do, and I say try because that's the bottom line, to impose our will in terms of what we do defensively and be prepared to make adjustments as the game sees. During the course of the game and game to game day decision for me with this group. You know, there's been nobody to separate themselves, and, you know, the bottom line for me is, you know, everybody talks about our post play, for example. I got 4 starters up there I feel really comfortable with, you know, the perimeter. You know, I know for us to be successful, we're going to need everybody. We're going to need everybody. When I say successful, be successful at a high level. And, you know, there's too much that goes on in terms of starting and finishing. And all I know is we got 12 guys, we got 1 walk-on. We need all 12.
Trent, since the beginning of practice, I know they played together in pickup in the summer, but since the beginning of practice, have you seen the chemistry starting to come together?
Well, Jim, we've never had bad chemistry. I mean, like I've said this before, there's good kids.
But I just mean with this team.
Yeah, I know. No, this team has had the best chemistry of a lot of teams I've had. These guys get along. So I don't spend a lot of time worrying and observing chemistry, because, one of the things I think at times we're too nice, and that can be a problem, and I go back to, my experiences with the good teams that I've had, and my experiences going back to as long as I've been involved in athletics. A lot of people didn't want to play. A lot of teams that had supposedly bad chemistry, nobody wanted to play with Brooke Lopez in practice. But when the game started, they wanted to be around him, and I can go back to guys like Kirk Snyder. I can go back to guys like myself back in the Stone Age. I wasn't liked by a lot of guys during practice.
I was talking more on-court chemistry.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point. I mean, so it's all about winning. It's all about making plays. And it's all about being respected. But we have without question. And there's good chemistry right now. And but it's early. And since Italy, the nucleus of this team, and what's going on here now is they've learned how to win a little bit. So let's see if we can sustain that. My better teams, it's always emerged in the backcourt and the front court, but probably in the backcourt. We're still young in the backcourt. And it's not necessarily a guy that's making all the plays, scoring all the points. It's a guy that's the toughest, the guy who can deal with the coaches and the coach, but also is an extension of what wants done, what we want done, what this program needs. And so there's a nucleus of guys that understand that. And, best leaders I've had on some of these championship teams, it wasn't Kirk Snyder, he was the best player. He was the worst. He was the one who caused all the chemistry problems. It was Tyler Overson, the point guard. And then at Stanford, it was Mitch Johnson, So, but this group is going to be done by committee, and somebody will emerge. Somebody will emerge. Storm has a way of leading, and sometimes he speaks, but sometimes when he talks, I don't know what he's talking about. And Eddie doesn't say a lot, but Eddie's very bright, understands. Ralston doesn't say a lot, but he understands. So when he speaks, everybody listens. Dre's been good. Andre, excuse me. And Auntie's still figuring it out a little bit. But because of his ability to have the ball, make plays, make other people better, he's a guy that has a chance. So, but more importantly for us, and it's early, and when this thing gets tough, it'll get tough early, we're going to find out.